I'm gonna cue it.
I'm the producer. It's my job to keep you on track.
You're doing a stellar job so far, honey.
To do
I'm
this.
ready.
Okay, that's recording.
All right.
That's recording. Okay. Welcome to a somehow live studio audience recording episode of
It's true.
Effin' Movie Podcast. We're your hosts today, Nathan, Mason, Price, and me, Dylan Camacho. None of us got last names but me. But
Better that way.
live studio audience is also here. And first of all, we've got a game. We've got a movie. What's the movie, Price?
The movie is Dead Snow. Spooky.
Dod's
Uh-huh.
Snow from Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta say it in German?
Yeah.
Dead Snow.
Why do I always think it's Swiss?
I
It
have
might
no
be. It
idea.
very well might be any country over there. I
That's
think.
fair.
There were some English parts in it.
Yeah.
I only watched it
I feel
dubbed,
like
by the
they
way.
didn't. I feel like they weren't speaking German in it.
No.
It's German.
Did you guys all watch it subbed?
Maybe.
No, I watched it.
What did you watch?
There was
Watched
a
it
sub?
dubbed.
Oh, I didn't
I
even know
I
that.
didn't
was
know that
possible.
existed.
There's a sub.
I have the Blu-ray and I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah, I watched
So,
it. I watched
anyway,
it dubbed.
not important. Before we keep getting into this rant, Nathan, what game are we playing?
I don't even know what this is.
Trapped Dead. I know very little about this game. It's a point-and-click zombie adventure.
Is that a zombie up
Oh,
there?
there's one.
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
There he is. He's not a Nazi
The man of
though.
the hour.
Not a Nazi.
Yeah, sorry guys, we
Oh,
wanted
he's
to get.
giving you all the exit
We-
points and all the weaponry.
We had a softball for the game Nazi Zombies. We understand that a lot of people in the comments below are obviously Call of Duty fans, but
Maybe one of them.
it was going to take too long to download, so we didn't do it because that's the kind of production value you expect from a movie podcast. Anyway, so that's the game. That's the movie. Let's talk about this movie. The movie least deserving to have a
yeah.
studio audience in front of it this whole season. Bryce, why don't you tell us about what this movie's about in 20 words or less?
You always make me do it in 20 words or less.
Because it doesn't need more than that.
Again? Oh, no.
Super stereotypical horror. Wait, are you actually counting?
We always do this.
7.
Just say it.
Okay,
Just say
I'm
it,
just
yeah.
gonna say, okay, it's super stereotypical plot, little, young, attractive
That's
group of
sad.
friends.
I don't know if you'd call them
You know
all
what?
attractive.
I'm calling them attractive.
I would
It's
too.
a handsome bunch.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
they're okay.
We'll get there.
But anyway, they're
Anyway.
going up to the mountains. Of course, it's like it's super secluded. There's no cell phone signal. You have to walk
Which they
through a bunch of
reiterate
snow.
multiple times.
Oh, they reiterate a lot
They
until
really want
until
that
he
to be
calls the
clear.
911 service.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't even. Yeah, that
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
missed that bit.
Basically, they go up there. They start partying, having a great time. They find Nazi treasure in the basement. That's when all hell breaks loose. There's an exposition man who comes in and tells them everything that happens.
Uh-huh.
Believe me, that does knock off my
And-
score. Let everybody know beforehand.
And also just keeps talking about how piss poor their coffee is.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
Yeah.
the time.
It's organic.
he
like
makes
shit.
he makes up that gross face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He leaves. Of course, he gets killed. And then after that, they're like, "Hey, gang, let's split up and look for clues." And then they all start dying from Nazi zombies that they awakened in the mountain.
Yep.
That's it.
So,
Because they found Nazi gold
Yeah.
in the cabin
SS
floorboards.
Gold. Yeah.
Well, they didn't all awaken from that. They were already
they were
there.
already there.
They were already
Yeah,
there, but
right.
they were looking for the gold and stuff. But when they pulled it out, they all like homing devices. Like we know
Right.
where it's at now.
this is kind of like, strangely, our movie from last week, Pirates of the Caribbean, but the first
Yeah,
Pirates,
It is.
where it's the cursed gold, and instead
Oh,
of haunted
yeah.
pirates, this is much worse.
And that one gold is really important.
Yeah.
That one piece.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just like in Pirates.
Oh, that's
Yep.
true.
Yeah.
That's the reason he dies.
Yep, that's the...
Yeah, because he puts it in Barbosa and he's like, "Aha, why'd you shoot me?"
Yeah.
Gotcha, bitch.
Yeah. Except that movie is good. Whereas
I think this
this...
movie's good.
Let's talk about
Oh,
it.
do you?
So, first point.
Fine.
First point of contention. Attractiveness of the crew apparently is the first point of this.
The
Pretty
females
okay.
the
I think
females are
they're all
smoking.
okay. I
The
think they're
females
all
are
okay
smoking.
for Germany.
Main guy looks good. The other
Oh,
two.
There may be
Yeah.
batting 2 out of 3
I
for
mean,
the
okay,
girls.
let me tell
and,
you right
like,
now.
and the long hair
You
fella.
call him main guy. I call
It's
I don't,
incredibly
I don't
subjective.
call him main guy. It's only because he's the most attractive guy.
Oh, we're talking
The
Ski-Mobile
main-
guy, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ski-Mobile guy
Snowmobile.
is not
Clutch.
in it that much.
No, really?
No.
Like he's not the main character.
He couldn't
The
possibly
other
be
two-
considered.
If anything, guy that got laid on the outhouse is main male character.
We'll talk about that.
His
don't
name
worry.
is Arnold. Or,
Erland.
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 Yeah.
He's the one that always says the English lines. Like he goes down like beer.
Yeah.
yeah.
That fucking guy. Anyway.
Martin was kind of cool.
All right. So is that the guy who?
Oh, like when he tried to
show
kill
off
his
girls?
girlfriend?
Yeah.
I was
Hey,
watching-
let me show you what old school. What's the medicines that make you feel?
Oh,
better?
anesthetic.
Yeah, old school
Yeah.
anesthetic. And then he just proceeds to suffocate the girl.
Oh yeah.
That was
That's
probably the weirdest part of the whole movie.
No, you all are like, I like authenticness in my teenage dramas. Like, that's something stupid like somebody would do. It is.
I don't want to see that in a movie.
I don't
It's
either.
It's so.
I don't want to
No,
see that
no,
teenage groping in each other stuff
So
that you all seem to
That's
like.
the line, though. This isn't teenagers. These are college, doctorate
Yeah,
people, adults.
they're
at
adults.
least 23 by age-given standards, at least, acting like teenagers, which is, all right, go for it.
No,
Tag in.
This is a foreign movie. We do not know how they act across the pond, people.
Across the pond.
Across the pond, you go up in the mountains, the Swiss Alps, whatever.
I wanted to make everybody mad on this podcast. Mason, I heard you compare this movie to another delightful movie.
What, the second one?
No, you compared some of the grossness to another movie that we watched.
Train to Busan?
Was it Thanksgiving?
Raw.
Oh, no.
No, Raw's a good movie.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, Raw's definitely a better movie.
Well,
than
I think
this.
they just went-
the gore in this movie.
They went crazy with the corn syrup in this one. That's
Yeah,
all
it was
it
a little
is.
more
It's
corn
not
syrupy.
bad. Alright.
It was very like
Intestine
it's very,
based?
Yeah, very
Yeah.
intestine based.
Right.
Because I was specifically thinking of the guy who somehow got his intestines hooked onto a tree.
There you
He got whacked
And it's
with
just
a-
like,
a
and he
hammer.
looks down, like, oh shit, my intestines are gone.
Yeah, he's
I don't know
like,
how that happened
and
either.
I
I feel
got-
like I blinked
Yeah.
and I was like,
Yeah,
whose intestines?
it's like he just ran into the tree and
Yeah.
it hooked his
Because
intestines.
the colonel guy runs by and like hits him with the hatchet,
Yeah.
Oh,
and then he like it's not hurt him at all. But then he turns around, his intestines are
He's
on
like,
the tree.
he's concussed and
Yeah.
like he
The
bumped it.
thing that I think you all are like underplaying the pulpiness of this because this movie is it definitely like knows
It's-
what it is at times, and
at
other times
like
it
that's
doesn't.
when it's its best is when it's
Yeah.
funny.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
it is very funny at points, particularly the like whole montage of them fighting all the Nazis. Like
the chainsaws.
The
and everything.
chainsaw was funny. I think to me the thing that actually made me laugh out loud was the hammer and sickle and the
Oh,
Nazis
yeah.
getting mad whenever he like crossed them like that. That was
Okay.
good.
I thought that was all right. There's credit where credit's due. This movie knows what it is, but it's still trying to be a movie. So it's already 12 steps ahead of Birdemic. And
Yeah,
this is in the Thanksgiving ballpark, where it's like there was an effort, but you understand like there's clearly a budget lacking on this stuff, and they're like, we did good to get a cabin
No.
in the middle of the mountain.
You know where they spent their budget? The snowmobile.
Yeah, exactly.
And boy, did they show that off.
That was the best
Didn't they even
part.
show like
Yes,
the
the
brand and
brand,
everything?
When he like rips the top off
Yeah,
of
he's
it, and
just
he like
rubbing it.
and he's like, "There's a spot that doesn't exist." Like, why are you doing that?
Okay, so our conversation is a little disorganized, but I do want to stay on the pros for a little bit because this.
Okay.
All right, so
Oh,
credit
there's
where
so many
credit's due.
pros.
I agree.
So many pros.
So let me grind through mine really quickly.
Go for it.
Okay.
And I can tell you right now, it's the amputation scene. And that's the one where they're talking the entire time, don't get bit, don't get bit. And then, like, he gets bit, and he's like, yeah, don't worry, they trained us to do
You
amputations.
just got.
It just cracks his arm, saws all the way through.
And the
it.
other guy's reaction is perfect. He's like, "Don't do that,
Yeah.
man."
And he doesn't scream at all while it's getting
Yeah.
cut off, but then after it's cut off, "Ah."
And then he.
And then
What's it called?
Cauterize.
Cauterizes it. Yeah.
And then, honestly, this,
Yeah.
I didn't like this. This actually lost the momentum for me. It's like,
Oh,
okay.
I loved it.
And then
thought
a
that was
zombie just
hilarious.
comes up from the snow and bites his dick.
My
and it's
favorite
just
part.
like-
And there's like a crunch to it.
Yeah.
And then he kills that zombie and looks at his friend with this like crazed look in his eye, and he's like, "Don't you even think about it."
Like-
So to me, like that whole moment is just so much funnier because I just completely lost my train of thought.
And it's gone.
Choo choo. Need
Yeah,
some
Bye,
help?
train.
Yeah, you guys.
Well,
take
the
it, Rob.
reason why, like, I think it obviously knew what it was doing was like from the moment they got into that shed, The entire
The shed.
movie.
It's not even a cabin anymore.
No,
No.
the shed. Where
Oh,
there's
the
not, like a
outhouse.
weapon shed.
Yeah.
Oh, the
not
weapon-
outhouse,
the weapon shed.
Yeah, because there's that.
The entire movie got to have fun with itself.
Right.
And from that moment on, it was an entirely different movie, no matter if you liked it or hated it.
Yeah.
Because the montage of just like the chainsaw and the this and the sickle and the hammer and the axe
Well, I mean,
and all
up
that.
until that point, it was just like cliche.
It was.
teen
Right.
It was Cabin in the
movie kind of-
Woods.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I wanted to
Very
make that,
much.
and it at the point where it's turns the switch and it realizes it's in on its joke. That's when I was like, okay, this movie's pretty tall. Like this has gone from like barely tolerable to like this has its moments.
Yeah.
That being said, though, a lot.
We're
Of,
doing pros still.
yeah. So still in the pros.
Okay.
I remember
Pass.
what I was
Okay.
So-
No,
Yeah.
I like.
I remember what
Oh,
I was
okay.
gonna say
You go
about
ahead.
Okay.
the whole like him cutting his arm thing. They're Nazi zombies.
Yes.
To me, the idea of this is like, do you become a zombie if you get eaten? Like if you get bit by
It
a
never
Nazi
felt like
zombie?
any of them really survived
Because
per
they're
se. Long enough to
all
make a
like
difference.
it's
Vigor-
only the Nazis are zombies, so it doesn't
Yeah.
seem like it's to me like,
Transferable.
my immediate assumption if I were in this situation is this is not that kind of zombie.
Mhm.
This is something else. This is some kind of like eldritch horror
Yeah.
kind of stuff
Yeah.
that they've tapped into here. Like
Yeah.
there's no other way these guys are alive. They didn't get infected on purpose or something.
Yeah.
Right.
They're woken by like an ancient spirit or something.
Yeah.
You know, something. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely, and Viger was the motocross guy, the snowmobile guy.
Did you look it up?
No, I actually had all the notes in here.
Oh,
I knew
okay.
that we would struggle with their names.
We always do.
Oh, big
Hannah was the
time.
girl with the dreads.
I can't wait to do trivia on that.
Yeah. Oh, I've got it.
Name
It's-
one
it's a lot.
character. Colonel Hartzog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zombie.
Yeah.
But I just think that like the moment that I thought it was the most campy was like as soon as that first zombie his hand gets chopped off.
That's
the girl,
that's mine.
Hannah
That's mine.
runs to Martin, which is the guy in the glasses,
Yeah.
Mhm.
the guy who's
And
famous
it's like
at blood.
tapping him on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Stupidest thing.
No,
to
that
ever-
was after. That
No,
was after.
no,
Oh,
we're
this
the
is
different
before
part.
in the
Oh, I
cabin.
have problems
Okay,
with that.
He
This is
he-
when like the zombies first come to the house and like somehow cause an earthquake.
Yeah.
She hands him the hand. He looks at the ring, and all he says is, "Nazis." and it was at that point that I thought the most exposition was coming through because I was like,
Yeah.
God, he doesn't know that. It's a hand that has a ring on it.
Yeah.
Well,
And
was it
then
the
the-
SS?
Maybe, but the ring was small and it was a dead hand.
That's true.
See,
It's
I was
yeah.
thinking like when you're talking about it's a really good analogy with like Cabin in the Woods when they flip the switch literally and the movie pops out.
Mhm.
See, I think they were kind of warming themselves up to flip that switch whenever the outhouse scene.
Sure. Like,
The outhouse scene was so funny.
for those at home wondering, because you haven't watched this movie,
Uh-huh.
good call. There's a scene where a guy's like, I'm gonna go take a shit. And then he goes out to an outhouse. And a girl who's been.
He has
Like-
been wooing her, and she has
Oh,
been wooing
he
him
was
back.
there.
I don't
Like,
know if I'd go out of my
No,
say.
they had a
They
moment
have
together.
chemistry.
Oh,
They
okay,
did, like,
sure.
when
This was the movie discussion?
When they were like,
Let's
shut
go?
up about the movies, and then she was like,
Yeah.
oh, this is kind of like that 84 film, blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
And he was like, "Oh wow,
So,
you're right."
to believe that's. To make it believable.
Describe the
something
scene.
incredible.
Paint the scene for me.
So they're all walking. They're going on the way to the cabin because.
No,
So
I'm
maybe
talking
You
about
don't have to
outhouse.
paint that.
Oh, that's
Outhouse.
it. Sorry. So
The outhouse
whatever.
scene.
What,
Oh, yeah.
What I would describe as my old friend Brian goes out into the outhouse to go take a shit. He's a big, tall, blonde guy for my wife wandering off screen, and he goes off to go take a shit.
Our producer.
Yeah, and he goes off to go take a shit, and then the girl just pops on in, and then they just start hooking up.
And he even, like, he just got done wiping.
Yeah, just
And
got-
he's like, oh, this is disgusting. And she takes his fingers,
Oh.
puts them in her mouth.
Yeah, that's how you get E. coli for the record.
Oh, that's the last thing she has to worry about.
So, yeah, I mean, she doesn't last very long afterwards because if you have sex in a horror movie, then you're on the clock, typically
Yeah.
speaking.
Now,
Yeah,
I'll take
sure.
the
Yeah,
next part.
usually you've got a good 5 minutes
Yeah.
to live.
See, that's the one thing I like about these zombies is that they have a sense of humor. Like, there's
So
one
there
part.
was
Go
really,
ahead.
like scat porn, like
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, effectively. It wasn't,
Pretty
like,
much.
incredibly
Like, it
graphic.
wasn't, like, on his face,
So-
but it was...
because I
it was
can't...
tangentially.
I can't get into, like... I'm going to get slightly into the cons on this one part.
Wait, I want to finish my part.
Fine,
though.
finish the pro and I'll
So,
get
like,
my
I
con.
think that they kind of have a sense of humor because, like, the zombie's walking around the outhouse and then pulls her down into the poop for some reason.
Mhm.
Doesn't kill her then. Doesn't kill her
Just
then.
gets her dirty.
Just gets her a little dirty.
Which has not been a thing that's bothered her so far, mind
No,
you. So-
not at
Yeah.
all. And
If anything, that was par for the
she
course.
stumbles out. She has a little wound or something. Starts screaming. Blah blah blah. She gets killed. And then they're like, oh, I wonder where she went. And they're like all walking around, and one girl's looking out the window, and
Yeah.
It's just her head.
they hold up the head, and they're like, Hannah, and then the zombie literally like
Shakes
does it like a ghost and like off screen.
Yeah.
It's a little silly.
I laughed so
that's
much at that
where
point.
You definitely feel like these aren't traditional, traditional zombies.
No,
Like,
they're
these-
so
these
goofy.
guys
I would
are
go as
very
far as to say
different.
that they're not traditional Nazis, Nathan.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And they're very choreographed, which is my favorite scene in the whole movie. Which you all led up to it with the them doing the weapons or whatever.
Yeah.
Because then Vigar comes up and he's like Duke, and then he has a mounted machine gun.
Yeah.
He found that in the cave. I want to just obliterate that right now.
And then
It is totally justified.
And
He
then
found it.
the next
Yeah.
part is when
Yeah,
he gets
that's
a
fine.
he gets a
Yeah.
zombie, like gets it under the tread of the snowmobile,
Yeah.
and then one of them sneaks up on him and stabs him, and they're like,
Yeah.
and the other two guys are like, oh, that must suck, and then 5 more of them stab,
Yeah.
pull it away at the same
Oh,
time,
yeah.
and
And
he's
then they
still
all
like,
grab him and just literally
Rip him around.
rip him, like quarter him completely.
Yeah.
yeah, and the other guys are just like, oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Man, that's a bad day there.
Pretty unfazed by the whole thing at that point. Which, all right, okay,
All
take
right,
it back. There's 2 funny
whatever you
points.
want.
This is all right. I have one last pro. Was
Go
that
for it.
they're again the deadpan humor on this one was the ones that actually got me, and this is the only other moment where it really stuck out to me. Like the guy in the snowmobile covered in blood. The other 2 guys freshly covered in blood because they just massacred. And they're like, yeah, like you two, like they're pretty much just like, what happened with you? And they're just like covered.
Yeah.
I don't forget what
It's like,
they
wait,
say,
no.
but they're like, bad day. Yeah, whatever they say. And they're like, yeah. And it's just like, that moment goes on for a healthy amount of time that I'm like, okay, I respect you for letting this joke land in a good way with that. Back to the cons. All right, so we're on to the cons now.
Oh, we are? Because I have a bunch more pros.
You're fine. So,
Okay, I do want to talk about the beginning part at least a little bit. It really drew me in, honestly. I really liked it. Like, it starts with that opera song. I forgot whatever it is.
Oh,
Dun, dun,
yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun.
yeah.
Like, it starts off really soft.
producer, you know the
In the
song?
Hall of the Mountain King.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. It starts off with that really soft, and, like, you see some people, like, running. You're like, what's going on here? And then it amps up, speeds up, and then they eventually, like, get the girl to,
For the
like,
record, it's the
lead
same as
into
The
it.
Social Network whenever they're rowing.
Yeah.
But it's a Trent Reznor.
Yeah, Trent
remake.
Reznor did the remix, and I liked how it led into the movie a lot. Like, it shows like how brutal the zombies are. Kind of shows the campiness of it, and it was really brutal. Like, you see her like get like eaten alive by the zombies.
See, I won't lie. This is I'm going to the cons whether you want.
Oh,
or
go
not.
ahead. I'm done.
The night scenes, at least for me, for the way I watched
Oh,
this film,
okay.
were like
I know. I'm
so
trying to
difficult
use
to
it.
tell what was going on. Like if there was good things going on, like just the night scenes were not shot well enough, or at least the quality of the movie that I was watching.
Okay,
was not well
okay,
enough.
okay. Better shot or worse shot than the Game of Thrones battle at night, the Battle of Winterfell.
Oh, Game of Thrones was better.
There's no way.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
no. Winterfell, I could
At
not see a
night-
damn thing.
At night, the thing that
we
like,
all complained it when we watched it.
I'm not
together.
saying
Oh,
that
that's
that's
funny you said
good.
we
I'm
all.
saying that you,
I didn't.
Yeah. So
You only complained when Arya got porked.
listen.
All right, continue.
So the point of that, the point of that is that like the
God.
quality
All right,
dropped.
slid his sausage in. That better?
It went from like 480 or like 360p at like those points. Like it just dropped.
It
for
was
me.
what you watched. I watched it on Blu-ray. I honestly didn't have a problem.
Well, yeah, you probably had a better time with Blu-ray than I did with 123XYZ movies or whatever it was on there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We are not sponsored by them, nor do we. Yeah, we support it. It's fine.
Yeah.
It honestly looked fine on mine. I didn't notice like any kind
Well,
of...
you got a Blu-ray,
Yeah,
so it should damn well.
Why don't you all have a Blu-ray?
Because we're not going to get this on Blu-ray price. Anyway, all right, back to my.
Let them talk a bit.
No, I haven't even talked about my con. I talked about those one thing, and you keep derailing me, you cuck. So, anyway, we're on to the shitting part. All right, what was my big con on that part? All of that happens.
Not enough
Oh.
shit.
All of that happens, actually. The fact that all happens actually is my biggest con. But then, like, I don't even know how to describe it.
These are not
the,
hard
The big guy
cons.
goes back into the place, and they're like, "Where's what's her
What's her
face?"
face?
Yeah. He's
And he
like,
just- yeah, and he just-
I had sex.
Yeah.
Grossly
basically.
burps. I don't. I'll go into it for a longer rant, but you guys go ahead and take the con list for a
That's
little
not a
bit.
hard con though. That's just like... I'm not saying like it's a little bit bigger than nitpicking, but it's not like...
No, here's my con with it. This is the movie trying to
Right.
take its tone and have some fun with itself, and I just
man.
did not find it funny. I
Well,
Then
just
that's fine. That's like...
Right.
That's
Uh,
that's the problem that we always have with comedies is like if it's not funny for you,
Right, it's
not,
miserable.
it doesn't do it.
Right.
If it's not,
If a comedy is not funny, if a horror is not
if you don't like the
scary-
music in a musical, it's not gonna work for you. And
Yeah, typically
That's
mostly
fine.
true. So anyway, but I don't want to hog that one. Anyway, go ahead, Mason, Nathan, or whatever.
I have a question real quick.
Yeah.
And,
Whoa, hold on.
hold
The
on.
question-
I know, hold
No,
on.
we're leaping ahead. The question's a whole segment.
Alright, that's fine. I think that every character was actually developed very well, and they all had their own little snippet of time. Like for instance, one of my favorite scenes was whenever Liv which was the girl, the blonde.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah. Well, it was the blonde girl, and she actually got awoken while she was getting eaten.
That was a really good
That
part.
part was maybe like the most well done because it was
It
like
was really.
hazy.
It was really unique.
Yeah.
Like
And then
I've never seen anything like
Yeah,
that.
she pulled the pin on that potato masher grenade thing.
That scene and the avalanche scene, like where it
Yeah.
shows like how she's disoriented.
I will say
Yeah.
that. Yeah, sorry. One other pro on that one was whenever they do the shot of her underneath the stone. That
and
stuff.
it like turns her.
Okay, that one was done.
That was a pretty good.
That was
I
pretty
happen
good.
to think that
Sorry, go
like
ahead.
there's plenty more good than there is bad in this movie. I
Yeah.
really, really do believe that, and I think that like
I think so too.
for it to be from 2009, obviously it was riding the coattails of Call of Duty Nazi zombies,
Big time.
like huge.
Yeah.
And
It's crazy those coattails are still this long.
Yeah.
unfortunately, they're longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just keeps going.
They'll outlive us, which is incredibly
Honestly.
ironic if you think about it.
Treyarch will still be around.
And I'll still be there buying their games
It's true.
in season passes.
Dude, he was a monster.
Man,
at
that zombie, he Nazi'd you, buddy.
the
All
end.
right, what other positives or whatever? What were you?
Positive
Mason?
Viger is my boy. He is just. My thing was, you remember in Clock Stoppers when the guy was just randomly
This is
riding
our first
the BMX
reference to
bike?
Clock Stoppers.
Okay,
This
so
is the BMX part of Clock Stoppers. The guy was just too damn good at riding that bike, and not only
Yeah.
that, but they had to show how good he was at
Like
his little
ramping
tricks.
it and everything.
and you know, and like
Yeah.
and flipping it. Just oh god, that snowmobile was
And that
easily the
that's
best.
another like unique time also was when like you saw him look at the guts and was like, oh, those are guts. And then the other zombie tackles him and he grabs the guts and uses the guts as a rope.
Yeah.
Like that's unique too.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like amazing storytelling. What happened there?
I just tried to get it zoomed in a little better so maybe I could actually see
Is it
what was
recording?
happening.
It is zoomed in.
Yeah.
no, yeah, so
You sure?
Yeah, we're good now. Anyways,
All right, we can still continue.
Nathan, do
Yeah.
you have any
Yeah,
ideas?
Nathan, what about
the
you?
movie?
that's a Nathan problem for later. Nathan Cons.
I know he's derailed at the moment.
Yeah. I know.
Man, I don't know. Like, I've seen this movie multiple times previously.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So,
all said we'd seen the movie.
I
Here's
remember.
one thing I wonder about with this.
I wasn't
film in
thinking like I
particular.
found like a gem or something.
No.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Like it was very
Uh,
surprising that I had seen this movie.
One thing that I'm kind of wondering about this is how many of you all know about this movie because of it having been an early movie on Netflix?
Yep.
Yep.
It was
That's
one
what
of
I'm
the.
thinking.
There was.
That's why so many people have seen this movie. I
Yeah.
think is just because it was on Netflix at the right time when there wasn't enough content.
I will say that, and I've said this before in both Thanksgiving and maybe even another movie, but there's a handful of these, what I would almost categorize as bad stoner comedies. And that this is kind of movie that you got really high on, and then you browse Netflix, and you're like, these movies look bad. And it felt like this, Rubber, Thanksgiving,
Rubber.
I had
like all of these. All right, objectively, and actually, just bad movies by like budget design and things like that, with the same horror comedy tone to it.
no. I think that this is different than the. I think this is different than the Rubbers, the Thanksgivings, the Goblins in the Hood.
No,
like,
I agree too. Like
it's
this
like a
is, this
step
is
above.
a higher
This is a
quality
higher bar.
because it's
yeah,
like it. Not to say that it's really exceptional, but
it's like a B plus.
I
it's
feel like they tried.
self-aware and
I'm
has
not
a good
argu-
enough budget to. have
I'm
done
arguing the
pretty
genre
well.
and the place that it's in. Like this is that like
No,
No.
I still
You-
don't see that. Like I still see like
You
those
wouldn't
other ones
compare
as
the-
super. Like there's one where llamas like shoot lasers out of their eyes or something. Like I wouldn't classify this in the same.
you're getting caught up in like
Kind of
the
redundant now.
prestige of it, and I'm
no,
saying
I'm talking about
like,
category. Like I still wouldn't put that because
You wouldn't put this in the same camp as Thanksgiving.
no, I thought they
No.
agreed as well.
That seems like such a straightforward thing to me.
Those
Those
seem like-
killing is way more low budget than this thing.
Way more
Yeah.
low budget, way more
Like
This-
the quality of
If
the
I didn't-
camera and audio in
I wanna see
Thanksgiving
where it's from.
is
Listen,
noticeably below this.
I agree.
If
I'm
this
saying
is from,
genre.
like,
He said
Finland,
genre,
I feel like this is Finland's
horror
best.
comedy, but of that like
Yeah, I see what he's saying. He's saying like it's like a comedy, horror, B. Like I think you're classifying as like a B horror comedy.
really anything that has like a budget under even $1 million. Like, yeah.
Nah, I still see it as like a higher pedigree than those. Really,
I'm gonna die on this hill.
that's fine.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
die on it
I mean,
because I
I
know I'm right.
understand.
and
It's
I'm
your
not gonna
opinion,
fight
like,
you.
Dude,
I get
it's
where you're coming
Norwegian. This is Norwegian, like
How does that make it any
like
different?
silver medal
Wasn't German.
Norwegian.
I was
movie.
not.
I knew it wasn't.
This was
German.
not
It something
Norwegian
like that.
or Norwegian. Norway being like
What did they speak?
super petty.
What kind of language is that?
Norwegian? Like
I
what
don't know if
language?
Norwegian is
Yeah,
like
Finnish, probably.
Yeah.
Finnish or,
or
Dutch,
Dutch,
something of that
probably
ballpark.
Dutch.
Hannah,
Or Norwegian?
Is that a language?
I mean, I couldn't categorize
Sure.
if that's a region or if that's
No,
a...
Anyways,
I have no idea.
The budget was 800,000, so it is under $1
The
million.
German word for snow is Schnee.
Schnee.
Okay, we'll Google it.
Dead
I remember
Schnee.
eating a Schneeball.
Producer, Google it off screen and let us know. But anyway, we're not gonna go into like the depths of the language and culture behind this movie.
I think we just need to remember what this movie is.
Yeah, and that's where
It's-
that's where credit's due. This is for me. This is where like, all right, I'm giving the leeway that I think this movie deserves for coming from the budget and the category that it falls into for me. So, Norwegian language.
Norwegian.
Okay,
Oh.
so
Well, there we go.
I was like kind of sure, but not sure enough to sit there and say on camera, Norwegian is a language, you idiot. Like, because I don't want to be proven wrong that quick.
They speak Norwegian, and then there's also like an indigenous language.
Yeah, that tracks. So anyway, we've been talking about this movie for actually a while. Do we want to get to the question now, guys?
I'm good with that.
Mason, what's your question?
What was more wholesome to watch, the BMX scenes from Clock Stoppers or the snowmobile scenes from this? Because I think that this was like X Games. Like they had a lot of. This guy knew how to ride a snowmobile.
I was
and they
expecting
wanted
a
to
bit-
showcase.
I was
it.
expecting a bit more of a substantive question.
Nope,
but
Anyway, I could
All right,
what's
bring
more-
Clock Stoppers back into the
Uh-huh.
mix. Yeah,
Nathan,
you guys brought
You
Pirates of
lead
the
it.
Caribbean.
We'll wrap it around.
So what was the question exactly?
What's more wholesome,
What's
BMX
more
and
wholesome?
Clock Stoppers, or the
More
Snowmobile in this.
wholesome.
snowmobile?
Wholesome.
Wholesome.
Uh,
That's right.
What?
Schnee.
Sneak.
Thank you.
yeah, I mean, the BMX and Clock Stoppers.
You think so?
I'm
Sure.
yeah. It's the BMX
I'm going
and Clock
snowmobile. This dude was ripping. This guy was fucking going.
I like, and like before he leaves, they're like, make sure you're careful out on that snowmobile.
Doing like wheelies. He was one flip away from being just X Games mode. That's all
Yeah.
it was. That's all my question.
Well, that's a question.
Yeah, that's
Stoppers.
it.
That's
What
a
other
question
kind of
for
question
a
you
movie.
gonna ask?
With
It
Yeah.
could have been more petty. Like, for one thing, whenever that guy was reaching down for beer, did you guys notice at one point they had like 5 beers total to last them all week?
yeah, like
And they drank all 4 of them at least
Yeah.
in the first night.
So it's as though they were planning on this all
Yeah,
night.
Right.
They knew some shit was gonna go
Okay,
down. So
I-
you better
we're
drink
not
light.
making it.
I
through
got
the
a
first
slightly
night
better
of this
question.
trip.
Who is best boy in this movie?
Vigor.
Okay, we got to vote for Vigor.
that snowmobile guy.
Yeah.
Um,
He was fucking
who's the not the friend who tried to suffocate his girlfriend?
Roy.
That one's Martin.
The other one.
Roy.
Roy.
Is Roy the
Roy was
the
the
friends
annoying
with
one.
the big head or the big blonde one?
What?
Roy.
Yeah, he was friends of the big one.
He was
Yeah.
the one with Martin at the end with
Yeah.
the chainsaw.
Yes.
With
Yeah.
the hammer and the
Roy.
sickle.
See, Dylan, that's who I vote for too. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's super funny. He seems
Yeah.
pretty
He was
capable.
annoying.
Yeah.
He's
But you
not.
know what? He
well,
did
to
work.
be fair, he
He did
was
work.
annoying in a crowd of annoying characters.
Right.
Yeah.
Who could be the least annoying in
Okay.
the fight?
What about you, Nathan?
It's the same. I
Roy.
think
Roy?
he was the most entertaining of the characters. But, I mean, that's...
I don't know. I may have to pick Erlen though because he has a lot of brains,
Shut up.
Shut up.
Didn't
Bryce.
his head get cracked open?
and his brain falls on
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
floor. He's like hanging out the window like,
Right.
and then he's just pull his head apart.
And for a guy who just was like, just a one over to the window for like knowing that they're outside.
Yeah.
Like there's
Zombies.
All right. All right. I'll
What,
say,
what
I'll
are
save
zombies
It
like? Things they hate the most? Windows. Oh
for, yeah,
god.
I'll save it for my. I'll save it for
Bryce,
my-
you can go ahead and go on with how bad they did our girl Hannah.
Which one's Hannah?
Little dreads
is-
girl.
Dreads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man,
Oh, we
she
didn't
was-
talk about that
Yeah.
yet. Like they're so she
She
was
got
so
it so-
capable
Yeah.
and did
She
so
made it to
well.
the end. They could have.
Why on
very
earth?
easily
Like
did.
Martin is like on a murder spree.
Yeah, they wrote her to do something that I don't feel like any reasonable person
No
was gonna
one would do. Like,
Get
I'm
within
gonna-
like this close to someone who's just been hacked.
Yeah, it's just like,
hacking
I'm gonna
away.
give him a
you're
minute.
fighting an army of guys. Let me just sneak up on you and like tap you on the shoulder while you're brutally just beating this last
Instead
one
of getting
down.
within earshot, be like, "Hey, I'm alive.
Yeah.
Hey,
Come over here just so you know.
hey." That was so stupid.
Alive, freshly
Yeah.
human over here, coming up to pat you on the. Oh, and she got a throat slit. So
She had also been through so much at that point, which
Yeah.
sucks. She fell through the thing.
Yeah.
She, had
She
a few
fought that
kills
one-
She fell off of a
Cliff.
cliff into an
Into-
avalanche
right.
and lived.
into fresh powder. Yeah.
yeah, she hit a
And
spit.
that one zombie just that was looking like a ripe potato,
Yeah.
just like
He was just
wiggling
bobbing his
around.
head.
Yeah.
All right,
Scores.
good with that.
That's fine by me.
Yeah.
Start by Mason. Go.
I give this movie an 8. This movie is incredible. I actually forgot how good this movie was until I started in on it. And I did watch dub this time. I don't know if I watched dubbed or something
Didn't know
first.
there's
That
a-
man, yeah.
Didn't
how
know
does-
there's a
how does
sub.
that
I'm gonna be
rate?
honest, it didn't bother me a bit.
Okay.
I was
Objectively, there's
totally
probably
okay.
sub is probably better.
Probably.
Subbed, I do think I watched the first time because I remember really being into it.
Yeah, I never even knew it was dubbed.
No
over.
idea. there was a
I
sub.
can't believe they had the production for that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, after getting on Netflix and
Oh, that
Yeah.
Netflix
They,
money.
they probably
Yeah.
had to do it for Netflix.
Yeah, that's true. Netflix probably did it for him. Anyway,
But,
go ahead.
But yeah, this movie, as far as like quality and stuff, I know it tries to be campy. I know it tries to just win you over with all of its silly parts, like the outhouse scene and all that. But damn, those deaths are awesome. Like every zombie that dies, they put thought into it. They put thought into the shed. They put thought into all the tools that they were using. When it was silly, sure. But man, from the very beginning, I think that they did really well. I'm also giving them a pass on just the fact that, now it's Norway. Earlier we thought it was Germany, we thought it was Poland.
I would
we
have
thought
swore it was
wherever.
Germany.
I don't know what the country
Switzerland.
has to do with any of this, to be
If
honest.
that was one of our trivia questions
was-
and it wasn't Germany, I just would have thrown it in.
I'll lose that 5-point question.
It
Okay.
didn't matter who it was. I was giving
We're
it a
still putting
pass on the
Germany.
fact that it was foreign and it was an IFC film. So do the actors have to be top notch? Tom Hanks, all that? No, obviously not. We don't know what happens.
Tom
over
Hanks
there.
is in this
We
movie.
don't know what their budgets
This is
are like.
a 10, baby.
We don't know what their soap operas are like. We don't know what anything of theirs
Kind of
is
like Bill
like.
Murray in
You can
Zombieland.
keep talking if you want. I'm done now. Now I'm done. It's an 8. It's really solid.
Nathan.
I mean, this movie's all right. It has its funny moments. I think that's more what I remember it for and more what I enjoy out of it. Everything else, until you get to that point, is just the setup of some standard cliche horror movie stuff, but also particularly poorly written, I feel like. So it really just all leans super heavy on the Nazi zombie premise. Which, I mean, I've got to say too, there's not really been a lot of movies that have used that
No.
for anything at all. So they're still kind of leading the pack on the Nazi zombie storylines. And I mean, it's a good trip, but it's not something that I think is exceptional. So I'll probably land at like a 6.5 on it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be landing pretty close to these two mice over here. And going to go with a 7 for it. I enjoyed it a lot. It's been years since I've seen it. Just like a lot of the movies I pick, I own it. I really enjoy it. I think that it knows what it is and uses it to its advantage and is very campy. I think the production on it is above what it should be for the amount of money that they had for this, I'm sure. The kills are really fun, like Mason said. The gore is really fun. They do a lot of unique things, but it's not something I'm gonna want to rewatch within like another 2 or 3 years. So I have to give it a point, a couple points down for that because the rewatchability for me isn't there. But I do enjoy it and enjoy recommending it to people. Let's fall off that cliff right
yeah.
into the snow.
I'm gonna dip it. Not as much as I feel like I should, but I'm gonna give this probably like around a. I'll be generous. I'll do what Price never does and actually give her a fair and realistic score. I'll give it a 6.
Nice.
I'll give it a 6 on this one. I'm not as high as Mason on 8, and you're wild.
Dude, this movie is so fucking good.
Dude,
It's fun.
I'm convinced you put any bit of like motorsports, 90s extreme things into it, and you
Makes
curve,
it all
you
more.
curve that movie up 3 points.
You add blood and gore to it.
Yeah, that's really the
That's
trick.
it.
This is anywhere from 5 to 6 realistically, only because I know it got extreme sports, and that's your funny bone. That's just like give it 2 points, buddy, and you're like,
They
"Say
had
more."
no purpose. In
Okay,
that
no,
movie.
Tom Hardy
So,
slut.
listen,
Okay.
hey, I don't love every movie Tom Hardy's in. I really enjoy it. So, anyway,
No, I got it.
this movie, listen, this movie knows what it is, but it doesn't start embellishing into it until like the tail end of it. So for half of this movie, which
Swap
45
I'm-
minutes out of the
I'm now
90,
man in the wheelchair.
I'm pretty uninterested in it. It's campy, it's corny, it's dumb, which is all great in its time and its moments, but on the rewatch, I'm just a totally sober mindset. As an older person now, I'm just like, the first 45 minutes is just like, oh my fucking god, get to the point. And then we get there, and then this time around, there was only like a handful of moments. Now, granted, those moments still landed for me, and being a test of time, I think, is important. For me to still find the amputation scene kind of funny, and like a couple little moments here. I was like, alright, credit where credit's due. But then there's just times where I'm like, why is this guy even separated from everything? Why did they kill the girl so pointlessly? Like, there's just enough times where I'm just like, I get that it's a movie that's like a bad movie being better than it deserves to be, but there are still times I just felt like it got lazy even with itself. Like, it just felt like, oh, we're gonna kill this character off here, this character off here. And that part bothered me because I'm like, you could have had more fun. You could have had this character be alive. I get it. By the time it's all said and done, they wanted everybody to die. But even if they're going to do that, I'm like, yeah, we mentioned, again, like the throat slitting for the girl, for Hannah on that one. The random exposition guy gets just, like,
We didn't talk about him. enough.
zombie dash
We
killed.
shouldn't.
Like,
Yeah, they kind of suck.
Yeah.
which, for
That's
my... It's a dumb thing to be hung up on, but the consistency is, like, okay, suddenly they're supersonic zombies that are really quick, but then they're never that threatening ever
ninja
again.
swipe that he
Yeah.
walks out and then the zombie just.
Yeah, and disappears off screen. I'm like, and they're never that threatening and powerful again. I don't know. It's the tiny stuff like that that annoys me. It's just like, just stay a little bit consistent in your tone and theme of things. But it has enough funny moments, and it's a bad movie with at least like a couple moments worth watching. This is something that I don't go to my way to recommend, but I'm like, hey, if there's like a highlight reel, even those out of context, is like, you get a very clear idea of what movie you're getting into with that one. So, it's a 6. It's a bad movie that's doing a little better than it deserves to be. And I can respect it for that. It knows, and credit where credit's due, it tried to be a movie, so.
Yeah.
6, 6.5, 7, and 8.
Hell
Pretty
yeah.
close on that one.
Yeah, we are. But, without further ado,
Oh, we ready?
Yes,
we're going to
yeah.
spin this.
Nathan, you get to do it.
Yep. You
Well,
got
I
it.
want to spin.
Well, you can't. It's got to be from the left, dummy.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Nathan's got it. Oh, by the way, if it lands on anime, I picked anime. Alita Battle Angel is not an anime.
It is, and we will count it. Make
It
sure
is
to
not an
spin
anime.
those.
It's not primarily animated.
Watch
it's my
it happen.
category.
Watch it. All right, well, let's see.
I get to narrow that category.
I don't know. I mean, you should have said that. It just says anime on the wheel. Spin it, Nathan.
I did. And you're like, we're
Point
just
blank
putting
range.
anime.
I'm like, I can't pull the trigger.
Please be it. Let's see what we got.
Anime?
It's not Alita.
Yeah,
It's my category.
All right.
It is not Alita. I've said that a million times.
Before we get into the rules and things like that, let it be known that me and Nathan are the ones tied with the least amount of movie picks. So
It's my category. This makes
So?
no
That
sense.
means you
Yeah.
get the most movies picked.
yeah, you gave us
Yeah.
a broad, wide range one, and we were going to pick. Nathan,
No.
I'll go ahead and I'll let you pick this one.
No, that's
Go for it,
not.
Nathan.
I
It's
feel like
not
Alita
Alita.
Battle Angel would be a really good choice. I think
agree.
we'd all really enjoy
That's
it.
not an
I think I would
anime.
love it.
She's got the big anime eyes.
It's
Yeah.
not even primarily animated. That's not.
You know what?
It makes
If you
characters
came off this
animated.
high, go ahead and crush him a little bit. Just do it.
I mean,
This is it.
Seems animated.
check out next week whenever we review Alita Battle Angel.
Yes.
That makes no sense.
Make sure to tune in next week, guys, if you like that bell.
Don't tune in. Please don't.
Hit the bell, subscribe, and make the comments.
Dislike it as much as you can.
If
Have
you
you
don't
seen
think
it yet?
Alita Battle Angel
No.
is not anime, let
You're
us
gonna
know in the
love it.
comments below, but we'll figure it out next week. Bye, guys!
No,
It's like you
Alita
willed that
Battle
into
Angel was
existence.
actually a live action movie with special effects and whatnot. Let's
Every
see what
movie
else
has
we got.
special effects.
That doesn't make
Battle.